Welcome back to the East of England Showground, the biggest crowd we've seen in the Elite League, here tonight for the second leg of the grand final, and it's hotting up nicely. Peterborough Panthers 58, Reading Bulldogs 62 at the moment, just off a 5-1 with Greg Hancock at the helm. And what a start. That was the start that Reading wanted. We know they could ride here. They've won here already twice this season.
Yeah, and that was a perfect timing because it was neck and neck. You've got to say the home side were just beginning to just creep ahead. And that 5-1 then was really a crucial time. And it was important not just for Greg Hancock, the man who's coming out in this next heat, but also for Sam Samota. Not really shown much form around this place at all. Last time, pointless. Didn't score in his opening race. Comes out in a very big heat, a pressure heat. Follows his team captain home. Ideal result for the Bulldogs.
I've said how essential Greg Hancock is. He's had a busy schedule. He's just won the American Championship for the 7th time. Is there a worry, given the fact that he's going to take rider replacement rides as well, that he gets to 13 or 15 and doesn't have the energy?
I've got no doubt in my mind that Greg Hancock's going to be absolutely perfect all night. The adrenaline, the excitement of the night. He's never won the Elite League title all the time he's been racing in this country. And I'm sure he's absolutely determined to give it everything he's got to pull it off here tonight for his team.
And remember, this is the Bulldogs' first season.
Yeah, an incredible effort. You've got to say John Postlethwaite, Jim Lynch, Sam Ermolenko, fabulous effort coming back into big-time Speedway. I fancied them making the playoffs. I didn't think that they could go all the way, but once again, with their backs against the wall, they're doing a terrific job.
Well, don't forget, Reading have won here at the Showground twice this season. In fact, Peterborough have only lost twice at home, and of course it was, once again, to this Bulldogs team. Jim Lynch just screaming there to get his man out there before the 2-minute warning. And he is out and he is ready. And so are we for the next heat. He has another look down at that chain. Kelvin, is that a worry?
No, I think he was concerned about it that first time because both chains moved, but this time he said the bike was perfect in his previous ride. He is still having a look. He is concerned. I don't quite know what he's not happy. No, but he's continuing on round, so fingers crossed all's well.
Well, he needs to win this heat. Let's join Steve Johnson and Nigel Pearson.
Cheers, Jonathan. Thank you very much indeed. Niels Christian Everson goes off the inside in red for Peterborough. Travis McGowan, gate 2 yellow for Reading. Ryan Sullivan, gate 3 blue for Peterborough. And Greg Hancock, busy man tonight. His 3rd ride in the 5 races that we're staging so far. He's off the outside in green here. Hancock won that US title at the weekend, but he's not off a very favourable gate here. Look at the stats there. Gate number 1 is the best gate so far, but Hancock off the outside, he can make a mockery out of statistics, that's for sure. But Hancock won his US title in Auburn on Saturday evening in California, and here he is in Peterborough on a Monday. Such is the hectic schedule, and I know you're looking forward to a trip to the States at the end of the season as well, Jono.
I am, mate. We're actually going out to ride at that track, Auburn, a great little track. I mean, it's about a quarter the size of this place. It's completely different.
Heat number 5 it is then, and the Reading Bulldogs are ahead on aggregate by 62 points to 58. Oh, and a movement on the outside, and Ryan Sullivan's left at the gate, and there was definite movement there, and the nerves are jangling at the star line here, Jono.
Yeah, definitely. That was Greg that jumped there off the outside, and with Ryan looking across the front of Greg, you saw him left there at the start, but he knew Greg jumped. Grabbed it again, like Ryan did in the early one, to be fair, but Greg did jump an awful lot more. He was quite lucky.
Has he touched them? Yes, he has.
He's touched the tapes there.
He's touched the tapes, and the referee can decide to punish Greg Hancock. In fact, the Peterborough fans are cheering here. Let's see if Ronnie Allen will confirm that, but he has decided to punish Greg Hancock in green. And Greg Hancock now can either be replaced by a reserve rider, or he can go back 15 metres and have that handicap start as the punishment for this offence.
Well,
couldn't clearly see that he touched from there, but I think we did from the first angle.
From the first angle, you can watch it again here, mate. There you go. He definitely did touch him. You saw when the tapes went up, they were actually stuck in his front wheel a little bit. I thought he'd actually got away with it. There you go. You can see it. So that's the rules. He did touch it. I mean, we were saying he could probably, stop that, but no one had won 1 off 4, and he was obviously concentrating so much to try and do it there.
I'll tell you what, Sam Samota is shaping up here to come in and replace him. Hancock not happy. There's Jim Lynch, the team manager, with him. Darren Bucock alongside him as well. But Sam Samota is shaping up here now. There we see him. He's getting his helmet on, and it looks like Sam Samota will replace Hancock here. And I wonder, Steve Johnston, just how crucial will a move like this prove to be over the course of the playoff final?
Well, you know, when it's this tight, you know, 1 point here or there can make all the difference. So every race is so crucial to him. But I'd probably have to agree that's probably the right decisions, because when you've got Niels Christian Everson and Ryan Sullivan there, you know, on this track, and then to even as good as what Greg's been going, to put him off 15 is a pretty big ask for him to try and pass those guys. And Simota went out and won his, you know, he had a paid win in his last one and looked pretty good there. So it's probably the right decision. But, you know, Greg would have been concentrating so much being off gate 4, knowing that no one's done it yet off there.
I'll tell you what, it just shows you Speedway, doesn't it? It really can kick you where it hurts, because in the previous race, Reading was celebrating a 5-1. They were all smiles. Reading celebrating a big result, and then in the very next race, your number 1 and captain bounces into the tapes and is thrown out of the race. It just shows you how Speedway can turn, and there's a lot of pressure on your pal here, your fellow Australian, Travis McGowan, who I know you know as the Moose, as his nickname. A lot of pressure on Travis here and Sam Simota, Jonathan.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is with Moose, we've seen him in a few meetings this year where he started off and he's had a crash and he's had a bad start of the meeting, and then he's come back and had a really good finish to the meeting. So I think, you know, he's a pretty young rider, really, but the thing is, he doesn't mind the pressure. I think sometimes he thrives on it a little bit.
So, a lot of pressure here. Travis McGowan, former Kings Lynn and Oxford rider. He's got, so far this evening, that's won and a bonus from that third place in the opening race here. Big night of playoff action then in the Elite League. Also the Premier League having playoffs this season to decide their league champions just down the road from here. Kings Lynn, favourites for the Premier League. They face Rye House, Sheffield, up against the Isle of Wight. The first leg of that is on the island tomorrow night at the Smallbrook Stadium. We were there earlier in the season for the sidecars, and a great weekend at the Isle of Wight. And the Conference League as well, Scunthorpe and Plymouth, to decide the Conference League champions. Here we have Heat 5. Everson off the inside. McGowan off 2 for Reading. Sullivan, gate 3 blue for Peterborough. And Sam Simota for Reading coming in as a replacement for Greg Hancock, who's been thrown out of the race after touching the tapes. Remember, Peterborough in the red and blue helmet colours and Reading in green and yellow. 13 points to 11. Reading lead on the night, and they lead by 4 on aggregate, 62 points to 58. Can Peterborough grasp the opportunity here and bounce back in the red and blue helmet colours? Great start from McGowan in yellow. Look at that, away he goes from the start. That is a magnificent start from Travis McGowan, and he's pulling well clear of the Peterborough duo here. Ryan Sullivan in blue, Niels Christian Everson in red, and Ryan Sullivan will take up the challenge here. And at the back is Sam Simota in green. But Travis McGowan under pressure, and he's carrying that responsibility with great effect here.
He knew going to the start line then that he really had to do something without Greg, you know, who's been riding with all year so well, and he knows that Greg's there always to shepherd him a bit and ride so well together. He's popped out the stun, he's looking so quick. I mean, when we were here before, when Reading actually won, Moose had a really good night, and he's taken off there again. I mean, look at him pulling away from these boys.
Travis McGowan then, number 2 in the Reading riding order, and this is a magnificent ride from Travis McGowan. He's pulling so clear down the back straight. That suggests he's got his mechanical setup absolutely spot on here as he comes round and keeps the flag flying for the Reading Bulldogs, and the Peterborough Panthers failed to grasp the opportunity, because there was an opportunity for Peterborough there to capitalise on their misfortune surrounding Greg Hancock and his exclusion. And Travis McGowan is the hero of the hour for the Reading Bulldogs there as he makes his way back to the pits, and he maintains that 4-point lead. It's 2 on the night, but remember, it's the aggregate lead which is all important. Travis McGowan the winner, Ryan Sullivan second for Peterborough, Niels Christian Everson was third. A 3-all, 14-16 on the night on an aggregate. Reading lead 65 points to 61.
Watch here with Trav off gate 2. You know, he knows he's got the Reading riders off 1 and 3 around him, and he shoots out to the start as he goes into the first bend, lays it over, doesn't go too wide there, rides around on that first bend, sort of down pretty low, really. But then once he gets the things wound up and he moves out, you know, as I said, the dirt line will move out as the night goes on. You won't have to stay so low. He just pulled away. I mean, in the end, he was 5 or 6 bike lengths away from these guys, and he's got a rider replacement ride to come yet. You know, that must be a good feeling for the Bulldogs.
Great ride from Travis McGowan, and here's Calvin and Jonathan in the studio.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, Travis has joined us, and great start, that one. And you needed that, and I just wonder what would have happened if Greg had been out there.
Oh, exactly, you know, as soon as I seen that Greg was put out, you know, I thought, right, I've got to do this one, and, you know, we concentrated a little bit and it paid off.
Yeah, you certainly did too. That was a fabulous start from gate 2.
Thank you. You know, it's the same bike I rode here a few weeks ago, and it's something I know that works. And you know, I just concentrated a little bit harder and made sure I dropped the clutch before anyone else, and that's what I did.
Yeah, because it could have turned against you there, couldn't it? Because with Greg going out, and particularly just after that 5-1 in the previous heat, you needed to keep the momentum going.
Sure, you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, keeping the momentum going, and you know, we're going to dig deep all night and hopefully race right to the victory.
Travis, what's it like tonight going down that back straight? We're not used to seeing that many fans out there. It must be quite weird.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, Reading put on 5 free coaches, you know, so it's awesome, and we've got the fans there. They've all got the air horns going, so it's really good, pumping us up, and you know, that could be the difference.
Paid 12 last time you were here. Can you do it again?
Let's hope so. I think it's going to take Paid 12 to win the match. So.
All right. Well, listen, you started well. Well done. We'll let you get back to the pitch.
Super stuff.
Super stuff by Travis McGowan. We said there could be a superstar outside of Greg Hancock tonight for this Bulldogs team. And could it be Travis McGowan? Well, he started with a superb ride in that one just when they needed him.
Yeah, that was a pressure ride there for McGowan, and he really responded in a positive way. Came out with a brilliant performance. Now this man, Kolodze, blindingly quick in his first ride, up against Hans Anderson, who was very impressive in his opening ride. Bit of a showdown here. Something's got to give, but Kolodze, he'll be right up for it.
Yeah, he will, and of course this is perhaps the closest track to a Polish track.
Yeah.
Kolodze is up for it. Hans Anderson, of course, has had one of the best seasons in his career, and he, of course, is the captain of Peterborough. This is going to be a big one. Let's once again return to Steve and Nigel.
Thank you, Jonathan. I think it's also a good point to make here now that every point is vital. Some people say Speedway is all about who wins the race. That is important, but it's also here tonight particularly relevant who finishes second and third. Every point is precious. Janis Kolodze off the inside in green for Reading. Piotr Swiderski, gate 2 blue for Peterborough. Mark Lemon, gate 3 yellow for Reading. Outside blue, Hans Anderson for Peterborough. And I'm sure there's plenty of nerves and tension in the pits area. There is Trevor Swales, the team manager, with Richard Hall's father, John, alongside him, comparing notes there. And Colin Horton there on the left, the Peterborough owner, and enjoying a little cup of coffee there to try and calm the nerves. And there's Jim Lynch. And there's Terry Russell alongside him, the British Speedway president. Also owns Swindon and Eastbourne as well, of course. And, Terry tonight, the meeting coordinator here, so a bit of pressure on Terry's shoulders tonight as well here at the East of England Showground. But British Speedway, there's still a wonderful passion for this sport throughout the UK. Great to see new tracks opening this season like Redcar and Plymouth, and Birmingham coming in next season as well at Perry Barr Greyhound Stadium. Speedway developing and growing as we move into 2007. This is the playoff final for the Elite League though, and Hans Anderson needs a good one. Oh, there's a bit of a collision on the outside coming out of the start, and Anderson has lost a bit of ground. Janis Kolodze is the leader, and Kolodze in here for the injured Matti Zagar, looking very quick, and now Hans Anderson has it all to do, because Janis Kolodze, it could turn out to be a match winner tonight. Third place is Swiderski, coming round. Mark Lemon trying everything here, and he's gone down there. He'll see that his partner is in front, and he'll want to get up. He doesn't want to see the race stopped, and Kolodze here is really proving to be inspirational for Reading.
Kolodze on an absolute mission. I mean, he's flying around there. I mean, the speed he had in the earlier one, I thought he was going pretty quick. Now he's done it on Hans Anderson as well. He's just, like you said about Moose in the early one, just got the setup absolutely right. And Anderson's going wide. He's trying to chase that dirt where he can pass a lot of people around here. But Kolodze, look how wide he's going into the bend there. Going on the line, probably where Hans would want to be trying to catch up some ground on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Janis Kolodze is looking like the fastest rider on show here tonight in either team. It really is looking magnificent. He takes the checkered flag, and that maintains a 4-point lead. And I just wonder whether there may be this mentality amongst the Peterborough riders. We're okay, we've got home advantage, but the longer the meeting goes on, the more important it becomes for you to gain an advantage here. And Janis Kolodze takes the checkered flag, and it's 2 wins out of 2 for him. And also, deputising for Matti Zagar, Reading have now got 6 points out of 6, a maximum return from Zagar's rides. Anderson second there. Swiderski was third. It's a 3-all, 17-19 to Reading on the night, and they lead by 4 on aggregate, 68 points to 64, and we've had 6 of the 15 races. And there is the Bulldogs hero, Janis Kolodze. He has looked so quick tonight, Jono.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, when he came up against Hans, I thought it might be a different story from his earlier ride, but he looked just as quick, if not quicker. So, yeah, absolutely flying. outstanding ride from him. You watch here off the outside, Hands goes over and he comes across. I mean, Lemo went across a little bit, Hands comes across. They tangle with each other, which I think mucked the first corner up there for Hands, and that are now, I mean, he catches up a little bit. Once he gets in a straight line down that back straight, he just pulls away. He's looking incredibly quick. Watch him come across. Lemo actually came across to the right a little bit. Hands come across to the left. I mean, we've seen it on 2 or 3 occasions this year when Hands has had to come off the outside where he points the bike, and he's had a couple of crashes here where he's come across on the gate 3. So not much of an incident there, but and then watch Lemo there. He just lifted a little bit there as he went into the bend and just gets out in the sloppy stuff. And like you say, looks forward, sees his rider, and he's trying to get up as quick as he can.
And here is the smooth style of Yanis Kalotze. Great ride from him. Let's head back to the studio with Kelvin and Jonathan.
Thanks, Nigel. No doubt about it. The fastest man on the track tonight is this man, Yanis Kalotze. And of course, he scored 10, paid 13 back in March when Reading won here. And he scored 8, paid 10 last time out. So he loves it too.
He does. And when Sophie interviewed him earlier tonight, there was a big smile on his face. He clearly enjoys riding here. And this ride last time, beating Hans Andersen, who was very impressive in his opening ride, he won that race reasonably comfortably. He was on the edge of the dirt, the bike perfectly set up, going fast, and Kalotze on fire, doing the business for the Bulldogs.
And he could be the man that replaces Thomas Golob if Golob doesn't come back to a world scene, because he was out in the Polish Grand Prix as a backup, didn't get to ride, but he could be a real superstar for Poland in the future.
Yeah, he's got world-class quality, that's for sure. A lot of potential, a lot of young Polish riders coming through the ranks, but Kalotze in particular looks really impressive. Had a really nasty shoulder injury and has come back brilliantly. It's not always easy to recover from a nasty injury, and this man's showing plenty of character and doing the business on the big night. Not always easy to do that.
Yeah, and what's interesting about what Reading have done in this start is kept the quiet. You know, they literally have just, stopped Hans Andersen. I mean, how often do you see him beaten here?
Not often at all, and you've got to say Hans Andersen was giving it his all. He would have wanted to have had a really big performance tonight. 5 out of 6 is not bad, but he would have expected to have won that last heat, taken by surprise by the flying pole, and he'll be looking for more performances, I'm sure, as the evening progresses. But yeah, Hans Andersen there, just taking a deep breath, but well, this meeting is really building up, isn't it? And you've got to say that Reading, once again, with their backs against the wall, really are doing a terrific job. The 5-1 at the crucial time, then keeping it 3-all, even with the exclusion to Greg Hancock, rather. They've kept it level pegging, they're maintaining that 4-point gap. Terrific stuff.
Well, I'll say it again. Can you see who's going to come out on top on this one?
Well, I went with the home side, but it's becoming harder and harder to call. But Kalotze, once again, he's having to have a few deep breaths because he's got back-to-back heats, and there'll be the Bulldogs will be hoping for another big performance in Heat 7.
Here we go again. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's join Steve and Nigel.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. There is 1 minute of the 2 minutes time allowance remaining. Yes, in Speedway, the referee can put out a 2-minute warning that riders have to be ready for the start within 2 minutes. Yanis Kalotze is a man in green. Last season, he won 6 major titles in one season. He won the Polish final, the Polish golden helmet, the silver helmet. He also won the Under-21 World Cup, the European Pairs Final, the Polish Extra League with Tarno. Quite a season last season, and Willie Cup 2006 with the British Elite League, here with the Reading Bulldogs in heat number 7. It's been a weekend where we've seen prizes galore, Workington winning the Premier League Fours and Glasgow winning the Pairs title yesterday at Ashfield, and tonight the Elite League champions will be crowned. Jensen off the inside in red. Yanis Kalotze, gate 2 in green for Reading, the hero for them so far. Richard Hall, gate 3 blue for Peterborough. Charlie Jeter, who'll be looking for a lot more. He's off the outside in yellow, 1 ride, and is yet to score. Jensen and Hall need a good race here. Kalotze off gate 2. There's Ryan Sullivan, who's been here so long, of course. He's been to pull in between. And there's Jim Lynch, who was the team manager for Peterborough when they last won the league in '99. Now in charge of the Reading Bulldogs. Oh, and Jesper V. Jensen has been left at the start, and that is a disaster for Peterborough as Reading march on here. Kalotze and Jeter are on a 5-1, and this would give them a 6-point lead on the night and an 8-point lead on aggregate. Wow, the Bulldogs are celebrating here because we're almost halfway through this second leg, and the Peterborough Panthers are in deep trouble here.
I mean, Kalotze's slowing up there. There's something wrong with his bike. I saw that when Charlie Gleddy came past him down. I mean, I thought he was backing off a bit to let Gleddy go past him, but there's obviously a problem there with his bike. But he's just going to try and keep, he's got a puncher there. If he can actually get the thing around, that 1 point that he can get if he keeps going for another lap and a half is really could make the big difference at the end. But fair play to Charlie Gleddy.
Well, if he gets lapped, he's out of the race, but they're going into the last lap now, and the man in yellow is Charlie Jeter, second place in blue is Richard Hall, and now Yanis Kalodze, with a puncture, has entered the last lap. So, it looks very much now as though it's going to be advantage Reading once again. Charlie Jeter takes the checkered flag, second Richard Hall, and this could be the point that could prove decisive in the race for the Elite League title as Yanis Kalodze comes round with a puncture for 2 laps. He's completed the race, and again, how much more drama do you want in a playoff final? The grand final it is, and Kalodze has gone round and completed a point. Greg Hancock is there to congratulate him, and another dramatic twist to this playoff final. Jesper Jensen, he will be gutted about what happened at the start. He'll be absolutely devastated. He was left at the start with a bike failure. And there, Yanis Kalodze pulling up as well, just as I hand it over to you there, Jono. More drama we see, and perhaps a little bit of fortune there, that there were only 3 riders in the race, and Kalodze was able to get that 3rd spot. Jeter, the race winner, Hall 2nd, Kalodze 3rd, Jesper P. Jensen pulling out with bike problems, and now Reading lead 23-19 on the night. On aggregate, they're ahead, 72 points to 66.
Yeah, you watch here, Jesper didn't even move off the start there, so the other boys have got going. They're in a 5-1 position with Charlie off the outside, like as we know, hasn't been one of the favourable gates there. Comes around off the outside. He made a pretty good start there, Charlie, to be fair. And that's where I thought, oh, Kalodze's letting him come around. And then as he comes into the next corner, he got slower and slower. Look at him there, he's looking. Charlie's coming around him, and I thought, right, he's set that up there. A really good manoeuvre there. Then on the very next lap, he gets a puncher. So, as disappointed as what he will be, I mean, Richard Hall there passed him, but I mean, Kalodze by then, look at his back wheel, it's just about coming, his tyre's just about coming off the rim. As disappointed as he will be with his first 2 races, at least it's still a point.
Well, these boys really do put it on the line. Charlie Jeter in yellow, a magnificent ride from him. And it's advantage Reading so far. I'm sure there were many experts within the sport. Myself and the boys at the Speedway Star, I know, thought that Peterborough were red-hot favourites here to go into this meeting. But Reading have the advantage. You can't take your eyes off this. Join us for more Speedway next.